In this video, I'm going to show you how to add an assignment and some of the different options you have when adding an assignment. So to add an assignment, there are two different ways. We can click on Add Materials at the top, and I will add assignment, but that will add the assignment to the bottom of the list of material. If I want it in a specific spot, after it's at the bottom, you can move it around, drag and drop, but I can also add it using by hovering in between two different documents or links and getting that green dashed line and clicking on it, and you can add an assignment. So I'm going to add the assignment right here. This is where I want it. So I'm going to add my assignment. I'm going to show you a couple different types of assignments that I've used. The first one is a lab document. So if I'm trying to share a Google Doc to someone, to the class, and I want them to be able to type on it, and then I have them submit it back to me through Schoology, so they actually don't share anything on Google Drive. And then I use my iPad app to grade very easily. And you can also use a rubric, which if you go to the Beyond the Basics section of the website, you can find using a rubric. So this lab is called Accuracy and Precision in Lab. So I'm going to say complete the lab with your partner and submit on Schoology. So you can see you have all these editing tools. You can bold with all of, like any other Word document. And then the other thing you have is you have insert a link. So when I will usually go to my Google Doc, and when I hit share, I'm going to get the shareable link. Make sure anyone at Adams Central can view it. That way I know the students aren't going to be editing this document. Copy, it's already been copied, but you can copy the link and then go back to Schoology and hit the link button. So I'm going to paste that link in here, and I'm going to say this is the Accuracy Precision Lab, and I'm going to insert that link. So here's a link that when students click on it, it will take them to the Google Doc, and they'll make a copy and share it with their partner to work on. The other options we have here, insert content. If you have gone to your resources tab and installed these apps, YouTube, Khan Academy, you can insert a lot of different things. You can insert images and media, links here also. You can even insert equations. Here's a table, so lots of other editing tools. So I'm going to include that. On the bottom here, we can include a file. So let's say I have some lab report guidelines that I want to include as well. I can go and find anything out of my off my computer and include that here. So I'm going to say I have some chemistry lab report guidelines I want to share with them as well. You can put a link on the bottom as well. You can choose anything out of your resources collections if you have saved stuff there. You can also do a voice recording. I have a special section on voice recording in the Beyond the Basics section. And you can also include a due date. So if I add a due date to this assignment, it's going to show up on their calendar. And on their home page, on the right-hand side, it will show up in their list of upcoming events as well. So I'm going to say that this is going to be due on Friday the 11th. I can add a time of when it's due. I can change how many points. Now, if you want to be able to sync this assignment and grade it in Schoology and you want to sync it to PowerSchool, you need to change this to the categories. Now this class I haven't set up all of the different categories for this class, but you would have to do that, and you can watch my section on syncing with PowerSchool in the Beyond the Basics as well. But so I'm going to leave it ungraded. I don't want it to sync right now, and so as long as I leave it ungraded, it won't affect my PowerSchool. Here's where you can change it. You can do like just A plus, like a new letter scale. You can also do a rubric, and I do have a special section on rubrics and Beyond the Basics. I'm going to leave it numeric, leave it basic. Some of these advanced settings, I can individually assign it to just specific students. So if I click on it, I can start typing students' names in here. I don't have any students in this class, so I'm going to ignore that part. Align learning objectives. I do have a section on how to align. This would be the NESA standards that you can actually align to each assignment. I have a special page on aligning learning objectives and beyond the basics. I can lock this so no one can open it. Now, if you want students to submit assignments on Schoology, you'll want to leave this submission enabled. If they're not going to actually submit anything to you, you can click it and disable the submissions. The one thing I have found is that if you leave submissions enabled, but they do not submit anything to you in Schoology, it will show them on their homepage after the due date that you have set that they have late assignments or the assignments that they have not done yet. So if you're not going to have them submit anything to you on Schoology, I would suggest clicking submissions disabled. I can make it visible to students or invisible, like hide it, publish it, or not publish it right away for students. I can have grading statistics enabled if I want. I can have comments so that students can make, like if they have a question about the assignment, they can type a comment on the bottom of the assignment. And then I can also copy it to any of my other courses very quickly. So if I find my other chemistry class, I'm going to put it in this chemistry section 2. I can even pick which folder I want it in. So if I have a special folder that I wanted it in, I can change the due date for that class period, would be a little different. I can change the grading and the scale also. So it's very easy to copy the assignment to a different class. So I'm going to go ahead and create this assignment now. And now it shows up right here. You'll also see that it shows up in their upcoming events now. So they can either click on it here or they'd be able to click here. Sometimes if it's within a folder, it's easiest to just click on it in the upcoming events. So I'm going to open that up. And now I can see, okay, here's my lab. This is the lab that they have to follow. So I'm going to, they'll open it. I'm able to edit because I'm an owner, but they would have to go to File. They have File and make a copy, and then they can share it with their partner, and they are able to type on it. And then at the bottom, I put those chemistry lab reports. They can either download the PDF, or you can actually preview it in a separate window, and they can see what my outline would be, the guidelines would be. And here is where they can write a comment if they have a question about the assignment, and you'll get that and be able to reply back to them. The other way I use assignments a lot is to assign Edpuzzle videos. In Edpuzzle videos, you can have the students go to the website, but I find it's easier if you just have it all in Schoology and they don't have to worry about missing where something is posted if it's all in the same spot. And it shows up on their calendar if we add it as an assignment. So I'm going to add an assignment. And while that's loading, I'm going to come over to Edpuzzle. The archived ones are ones that have already passed their due date, so I'm going to pick this one that has lab techniques. It doesn't have actually a due date. But out of these share links, I want to copy the embed code. So I'm going to copy the embed code, and then I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to say this is a lab Edpuzzle. That way now they know. Okay, what's cool about embed code is that if I click on this dots over on the top right, it switches to my HTML code, and if I paste that embed code, I have no idea what all that means, but and then if I click back, there's going to be a little box here that will have the video that shows. If I want to resize it, if I click on the box and hover over this image right here, I can delete it there, but I can change my dimensions. So sometimes I make it a little bigger. So if I make it 500, and I always constrain proportions, that way it keeps it the same, and then I insert right here. And then for Edpuzzle, since they're not really going to send anything back to me, I'm going to check the Edpuzzle website to see if they've finished it. I'm going to disable the submissions, that way they don't feel like they have to submit anything. You can add a due date by adding a due date. I'm going to add it to the 12/14. It'll show up on their calendar. So I'm going to create. You have all those other options like you did when we made that lab. You can still use those options. So you can see it shows up over here. Now if I open it up, let's see what it looks like. I'll open it from over here. Oh, it's okay. So here we have, it's going to just play right here. I'm going to start the assignment. Sometimes they have to log into Edpuzzle. They log in with their Google account right through Schoology. They don't have to ever go to the Edpuzzle website. So if I start here, and then I can go ahead and play right here, and it'll start. Anytime that you can get an embed code, it doesn't have to be Edpuzzle. It can be any sort of embed code. You can do the same thing with that embed code in an assignment. And it will show up if I edit. Just remember that you can use these two little dots on the top right here, and then you can embed that video or whatever it would be. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, make sure you ask.